Welcome to today's demo. I'm going to demonstrate how this new community space can be used effectively by working groups and circles. So we're going to start by logging in. And here you can see that you go to community.perma.earth and you will see a login page. And here is already my username and password. In this case, I'm putting in my email. And if you don't already have an account, then you'll have to either be invited or register for one. I will circle back to that later. However, all the people who will be watching this video in the first instance will be those who already have received invites. So I click login. And if this is your first time logging in, it will prompt you to complete your profile. Here I share what mine looks like. So I've put in a background image, an image of myself. I filled in my location. You will prompted to fill this in when you first sign on. My permaculture experience, what domains I'm interested in working with others on, and why I'm here in the collab. So all of this is completed once you first log in. However, let's assume you've already done that, all of that, and you are coming to work as part of a group. So the first thing to do is to check whether you're already a member of that group. In this case, you go on the left-hand side here and click on groups. And as you can see here, I'm a member of several groups. And I know this because it will show me the button leave, as in I'm already in there. And if I want to leave, I can. There are also other groups you can see where there is no join or leave button. And these are basically closed groups. They may or may not be visible to you. It depends on your access levels. If you are already a member of a group, it's likely that when you join in, you will be added to the relevant groups slowly. So as we go along, right? But if this doesn't happen, and let's say you are part of the general circle and you haven't been added in, maybe this is a bad example because it's an open circle. Then you could click on the group name, just like I did there. I'm going to show you again. Click on the title, General Circle. That opens information about that circle. I can see who else is a member there. And I can message that group by clicking on Message to ask them to add me. Or else I can request to join. So you will see in most groups you can request to join. And if you're already a member there, then they will immediately approve you. If you're not a member there from the previously, like from the Slack, then you have to be patient because they have to process your requests one by one, right? It's a manual process. It's not automatic. So let's assume I want to interact with my group, which is the Digital Circle Services team. I'm going to go into topics. That automatically takes me to the front page. I'm going to have a look at at how this is laid out. You will see each title of a section we call category. Each category has also a number of subcategories. Now you might see less on your view than mine because I have more access, but more largely it's the same. So let's say I want to go to the DC Digital Circle Services. So I'm going to look under Digital Circle Services theme. And I see that there's a number of topics already open there. Let's see if I notice that some topic that was open before in the Slack and is not here, then here would be the place where I would add it, right? So let's see. For example, I would click new topic. The first thing I want to check is that I'm still in the right place so that the category and subcategory is correct. And then I can use optional tags. For example, in this theme, we have, if I minimize this for a moment, we have different tags that are already in place. So we've got lead, marketing, and tech support. Now, this is the way that this team organizes their things, right? Each team will be different. So let's say I want to already open one of these. And if I go to edit, so let's say I wanted to add a new topic. Let me minimize this. You have a title where I put the title in that I got from the Slack from before. I gave it a title because Slack didn't have titles. I gave it a tag so that it helps the team figure out what this is about. And I've put in the information from Slack. In this case, it was already a Slack conversation, so I added some added information on the top here and copied in the stuff. Go all the way to the bottom. And once you're ready, you save it. And that basically is what it looks like. So then team members can hit reply and they just reply to the above. So in summary, I can reply to this. And if I wanted to reply to a bit of it, I could use the quote. So then I can reply to some of it, but not all of it. And if I hit the quote and paste here, whatever that is there, that will appear in the quote, right? I can make this bigger if it's easier. And I can also see how it will appear for other people because I'm using here the markdown switch, the rich text editor. And once I'm ready, I hit reply. You can add all kinds of things, unordered list, ordered list, any emojis. If you are going to ask for your team members' consent, for example, you could build a poll. And let's say it would have I consent. I have clarifying question. I object. And you want to see who voted. Insert poll. That could look like this, for example, and I could add information about this. The same how we use the consent process in the Slack, but here you're going to see who the voters are, and you might want to add, please respond by the date and elaborate and reply if you have questions or objections. Basically the same thing. And people will just be, instead of using emojis like we did before, they just use the options here. Okay, I'm gonna close it because we don't need it. You can save it for later. You can keep editing or discarding. In this case, I'm gonna discard it. And the other thing to say is this subcategory specifically. If I hit the settings button, it has been set up so that only DC services can see, reply, and create into this. There are some other groups that have a little bit different settings. So I'm going to show you a different example. So if I go to the category here, Next Steps Project. So with Next Steps Project, we have a specific group of people who are working there. That's the Next Steps contributors. But we also want to make the information that goes on, everything that goes on within the Next Steps project as much as possible available to see by everybody, right? So the settings here, the security settings are that everyone can see and reply, but only the Next Steps contributors can see, reply, and create. So that creates a different kind of thematic. If your group is set up as totally private for the moment, and you want it to be semi-transparent, and that's, for example, like this one, that people can see but not reply and not create, or any kind of other combination, you can let us know and we will set it up for you. Other features for groups, let's say you are a member of, let's pick another one, of the comms engagement and outreach team. They have right now a private, this is completely private. Everybody cannot see, reply, and create. Only the comms team can do that. And I want to ask someone a very quick question, but I don't need to talk to the whole group. I just want to talk to a specific person. So I'm gonna go on the communications team I'm gonna click on the person, for example, that I want to talk to, in this case, Hans, and I can choose either to message him. So message him will come up with like this, what is this discussion about and what I need to communicate to him. Or I can hit chat. So if I hit chat, then this will come up like this. And you can see I had already previously chatted with Hans, so there's already some messages there. Important to say that private messages and private chats are not searchable and they're private between you and the other person. For more better group conversations, which are just not using the chat, but actually using the topics. So in this case, I would go to communications, engagement, and outreach, which I can also have a list here on the side under categories, but I can also go to the main page like I did before. Click the comms outreach team category and start a new topic there. We need to talk about XYZ, whatever it is. Try and keep it as topical as possible. So if you're thinking about 2 or 3 things that you have to talk to the team about, then split them in different topics. And then once that topic is complete, I'm going to close this. Let's say this one, we have finished with it, then we can close the topic and archive it so that it's done. We don't need to talk about it anymore. That's basically how groups could use it. You also can see that, for example, under different thematics, there could be different amounts of groups. So for example, funding circle has a funding circle services team, a funding circle volunteers team, which is different, and so on. So if you have multiple teams that fall under the same, let's say, circle, you could still split up that so that the communication is more directed towards the people you're trying to reach. As you can see under categories, we already have quite a few set up, and to reduce the overwhelm from new users, we have laid it out so that the top 2 are always everybody and welcome circle. This is where most people will start coming in. And if I click this, for example, on the introductions, I can see someone's replied, Mai has replied, and she has introduced herself. So this is the one place where everybody will do their introductions. I suggest you get started there as well and start using it for your working groups and projects. And then if you have any feedback or questions, you can go back to the categories here, and under welcome circle, you find community space, help and feedback. And this is where you can start new topic, asking your specific questions or giving feedback for a specific area. Please keep in mind that this is a software that's maintained by the open source community. There are some customizations that we can do. So please, if you have a request, you can make it. But of course, keep in mind that also if something is prepackaged within the software, then it's not so easy for us to change it. And our development funding has run out for this year. So there isn't any funding for the tech team to actually make any large changes. Also, the design of how it is set up now, it is with some thought. There was a design process of how this is set up, which will be shared with you as well. And I will put a copy of this under community space and feedback, help and feedback, so you can review that there if you need to. Like I said, if you need any new group set up or any new subcategory set up, or if you think, oh, there was this subcategory, like there's, for example, I had a chat with Kate about communicate your impact, and maybe, I don't know, some other one, impact and evaluation, maybe these 2 could be merged. If you come to that conclusion, listen, maybe these 2 things could be merged. But now they used to be separate channels, but now we can have them in the same space. Then let's do that. So that reduces the overwhelm for the new users. Okay, well, we're all learning and experiencing this together, and I hope that you enjoy the space. And like I said, if you have questions or feedback, you know where to do that. That's under community space, help and feedback under the welcome circle. Please be patient. So you're dealing with a system that was set up by people for people. So please be patient and be mindful of that when you give your feedback. and to the people who have been working on this quite a bit. Looking forward to seeing you on the other side.